Clerk will call the roll.
Councilor Cologne Hayes. Here. Councilor Condon. Here. Councilor Crowe. Here. Councilor Linehan. Here. Councilor McDonald. Here. Councilor O'Malley. Councilor Seega. Here. Councilor Simonelli. Councilor Spatafora. Here. Councilor Winslow. Here. Council President Murphy.
Here.
O'Malley here. Thank you.
Thank you. For those in attendance, please be advised that this meeting is being taped, both audio and video, by UMA, and is also being recorded on Zoom. So, pertaining to virtual meetings, I'd like to remind members, participants, and attendees, whether they are in person or remote, to maintain decorum. This includes not speaking all at once and not speaking over one another. When authorized to speak, members and others will speak through the chair. Maintaining this decorum facilitates the accurate remote transmission as well as the accurate recording of this meeting, not only digitally, but also through the manual recording being done by the public body and the clerk. Clerk, would you please read the meeting notice?
A public hearing will be held by the City Council at Malden City Hall, 215 Pleasant Street, Malden, Mass. on June 13th, 2023 at 6:00 p.m. The purpose of this hearing is to receive public comment regarding the city's fiscal year 2024 budget. City Council Paper 219-23. The proposed budget is available at cityofmalden.com/city-budget.
Okay, as we hear from the public, we will be taking questions, but please note, responses will not be issued all at once, but at the end of the comment period. Okay, Councilor McDonald, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. As chair of the Finance Committee, I would have loved to see more participation in our public hearing. I believe now would be the time, if anyone might be watching this live streamed, to join the Zoom meeting and be able to express your opinions for or against any portion of the city's annual budget, which begins July 1, 2023, concludes June 30th, 2024. This is one of the most important decisions that we make as a council, approving the annual appropriation order. It's about $215 million for next year. And at this point, I'm clearly just padding for time. So,
actually, Councilor McDonald, I'm going to take the mic back just for a second because I skipped one important part. I want to declare this public hearing open.
oh, thank you, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. Now it's open if anyone would like to speak.
While we just wait another minute to see if anyone chooses to join this meeting, I'd just love to recap what we've done in the Finance Committee. We've had 3 meetings, each of which has been recorded and made available on Zoom to the public. Our first meeting on May 30th went through an overview of the city budget, and we talked a lot about income and revenue and overall budget dynamics. We took a look at the rising costs of healthcare, which is, of course, a concern for many organizations and public entities. We talked about the flat receipts from local taxes that we're seeing this year, a little bit in contrast to last year. And we talked about the substantial increase in Chapter 70 education funding that our school system, that's going straight into Malden Public Schools. Then we had a subsequent meeting on Thursday, June 1st, and we met with a couple of departments that had some limited, some things going on in their budgets. To hear from a selection of our city leaders, we met with the Department of Public Works, always a lot to talk about there, the Fire Department, the Malden Public Library, and the IT Department, where we're making some investments following the attempted security breach earlier this year. Then we had a meeting last week with the Malden Public Schools. We met with the Director of Administration and Finance, Tony Mertz, and our Superintendent, Lihia Noriega Murphy, and went through the proposed budget for Malden Public Schools, which I believe, did anyone tune into the school committee meeting last night? It passed? It passed? I think it passed. Yes, it passed the school committee. So that part is teed up as the largest single part of the city budget, which brings us to today in the public hearing and the chance for our residents to express their opinion on this major investment that we make every year. And we had, under Councilor Murphy previously moved this meeting up to, the public hearing up, to make sure that the public had a chance to comment before the Finance Committee took any votes or requested any changes. We will be meeting subsequent after this. After this public hearing, the Finance Committee will convene to discuss any potential changes or other reviews to the budget, but wanted to make sure that we waited until this hearing was done first. And I will also just say, even if you did not get a chance to contribute to this public hearing today, you can always email your city councilors. You can email the clerk, Carolyn DeCidiero, and have that passed on to all of us on the Finance Committee. My personal city email is cmcdonald@cityofmalden.org, and I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on the city budget. So I think that's what I have to contribute at this stage. I'll turn it back to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor McDonald. Can we see if there's anyone?
There is only me.
Okay, all right. Councilor Cologne Hayes has her light on. Let's go to her, and
Thank you very much. I was going to say that people still had time, even if they weren't making this meeting. I had announced it on my page and tried to remind people to come. It's very important. But Councilor McDonald had just mentioned what I wanted to say is that you can still make your voice known. I know that this is being recorded, so please take some time to watch it and then email us if you have anything that you would like to add or have any questions. Thank you very much.
thank you, Councilor Cologne Hayes. Okay, seeing none and hearing none. Speaking in favor or in opposition in the audience or on our Zoom link, I will declare this public hearing. Oh,
No, it can be after the public hearing.
are you sure?
Yeah. No, I'm not testifying.
Okay, okay. I'll declare this portion of the public hearing closed. Closed at 6:10. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Madam President. So yeah, the point of a public hearing is to kind of hear from the residents, to get testimony for or against. So the reason why I didn't talk at the hearing was because I didn't want to testify for or against. And I'm just wondering how we get more public engagement in the future. And can you remind me correctly, is the hearing, it's before the full council, not the Finance
Correct.
Committee? So I mean, I think in the future, I know that we've started to invest in language access, making sure that, particularly for the budget, things like this, we probably would want to make sure that we have translation services available. But I think with this particular budget, you know, as Councilor Murphy, you had indicated, you know, this is probably the last not painful budget. This was kind of this was relatively painful more on the back end, but you know, what's kind of really up here is not. So I do think where we're going in the next couple of years, we're going to want to make sure we get public engagement on point, you know, particularly if we're looking at potential layoffs, particularly if we're looking at, you know, declining revenues. We want to make sure that we are as transparent as possible. I've never been here for a controversial budget like that. I know that was probably just prior to my arrival. So we do want to make sure that we increase public engagement where possible. But I think this year is probably a sign of the fact that we were able to put a budget together that is not painful. That might not happen in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Malley. I think one of the nice things that's happened this year, you know, that actually is a result, unfortunately, of us having gone through COVID, is the fact that we do have Zoom. And for the first time this year, all of the Finance Committee meetings under Councilor McDonald's leadership have been Zoomed. So hopefully that, as it continues, will continue to attract people into, if they can't make it physically, they'll at least be able to sit and listen to the dialogue that takes place during the committee meetings. So thank you, Councilor McDonald, for, you know, making sure that that happened this year. I think that's the next step to hopefully, you know, getting more community involvement. So with that, what we're going to do, as this is a full city council meeting, we are not going to adjourn, we are going to recess, because we are going to come back at 7 o'clock, and if we adjourned, we'd have to go through the Pledge of Allegiance and everything else again. Not that we mind saying the Pledge of Allegiance twice, but I think it makes more sense for us to recess. The Finance Committee can then have their meeting, and then we will come back to the council chambers for the Committee of the Whole meeting. So Do I have a motion to recess? Motion to recess by Councilor Seeka, seconded by Councilor McDonald. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are recessed.
Recessed at 6:13.
It's a different meeting now.